Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. I'm Sneha Agrawal and I am here to introduce you to some of the leading lady luminaries of the BFSI sector on the occasion of International Women's Day.
So for that, we have Nilufer ma'am today with us from Federal Bank. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks, Neha.
Ma'am would talk about habits today. What habits do you see making a big contribution to your professional success?
When I started, there was mobiles didn't even exist in India at a large scale. Whereas today, in any retail business, mobile app is as important. Whether I was say running a shopper stop, or if I was in a retail bank, or if I was say running Amazon. So I guess the constant learning around what's happening with the consumers, what's happening on technology, what's happening even in the regulatory framework keeps evolving. And subconsciously, all of us keep learning, but in a conscious way, how do you pick a few aspects to be continuously learning, at least in the domain that you are working or aspiring to work in, becomes important. Um, I think the only silver lining in the last 12 months COVID period was many of us discovered or started using some of our latent talents much more. So learning today is no more about physically going to an institute and doing a postgraduate only.
Definitely.
There are so many online courses that you could do at your pace. Itself is a learning today. So the reading capability with what I call as Google Baba. You can Google just about anything and learn from it today. So the concept of learning itself has changed. Personally, I have a 21-year-old kid, no more kid, a child, a son. So so from him, he's in its own way the new consumer. So continuously observing, learning from the new generation. I'm sure you would fall in the same category. So so how do you constantly be around the 20 to 30-year-olds who are the consumer segment to be able to constantly learn from them? So this, I think, is the core. As I said, subconsciously we all do it, but in a more conscious manner, how do you keep doing it?
Yes.
Help. The other, I think, a little later in life, which was picked up is, how do you balance stuff out? One is at work itself. So there is it's an old HR concept on consumer behavioral concept called balcony and dance floor, which essentially means that are you continuously on the shop floor trying to solve day-to-day fires, or you're going onto the balcony and taking a 30,000 feet view and then guiding the teams on what to do.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
in an ever-evolving world, it is not an either-or. So if I keep sitting next to you and tell you what to do, you'll say I'm competent enough. Let me do my job. If I just keep giving strategic gyan, then again people will feel that you don't understand our day-to-day problems. So as a leader, how do you ensure that you manage and balance out both constant learning with the team, constant guidance with the team, at the same time strategically taking a longer view? That's at the professional side. I think the other associated side is the personal side,
Yes.
especially in the context of women.
Yes.
And I think there is a quote from Indra Nui, who's the ex Pepsi CEO,
Yes.
where she said that the professional trajectory and the biological clock are constantly at a fight. Or the peak career time, of course, is the 25 to 35 age category. As to how you grow and how do you become mid management to senior management quickly. But at the same time, that's the time you're getting married, you're having kids, you're settling your life, you're moving into a different house, you're moving cities maybe with your spouse, or he's moving cities because your career is taking you to different geographies. So how do you balance that out? And there is no right or wrong answer. It depends on that situation, that moment. But consciously driving a balance on that, I think work-life balance is an overused statement. I call it, as I said, the biological clock and the professional balance. How do you manage that becomes important. I think those two are the key ones. Uh, Third, the last one that I would say is when generically I'm using the word discipline. I think early on, if each of us consciously figures out how do you manage your time or and therefore discipline. So for me, if it is not on my personal calendar or on my office calendar, and I sync the two, there is no way I'm going to remember that I have a doctor's appointment or I have to, in 10 years back, go for a school PTA. So each of us have different styles. Some have diaries, some have fantastic memory, they can remember everything. Some use digital tools like notes, post-its, calendars. But managing a disciplined way, because then you can allocate time for everything that is important to you, whether it is family, kids, spouse, work, and balance those out. So in summary, I would put it as constant learning, a balanced life, and a disciplined way of ensuring that the above two are executed.
Definitely, all the 3 points are very relevant. So, which of these habits were developed earlier on in life, and which came later?
I think in the context of that way, if you look at it, the constant learning, as right from school, college, was more about reading different aspects. So while I am a BCom and an MBA marketing by background,
Yeah.
but I've liked economics, I've liked macroeconomics, I've liked political science. So I think in those days it was learning by method of reading books, because in I'm feeling really old, but in those days the only option was to go to a library, pick a book, and read. So I think that came early in life. It was maybe a subconscious way of building that habit. Uh, Things like this professional career versus the biological clock, you learned on the go as you became older. And out of necessity, you try to start balancing everything. So I would say early on learning, and then the remaining two came as in when the need arose as you grow older.
Okay, so are there any new habits that you have learned in the near future, maybe during the lockdown?
I'm sure many of them would have already shared it, and it's not a man versus woman. I think all of us have gone through it. Uh, Lockdown, the earlier perception was that there will be lesser travel time to work. You are at home, so you'll be able to manage your time better. But in its own way, I think many of us figured out that if not 24/7, it actually at least became 12 hours by say 7 days. So even at 7:30, if somebody called, you would feel bad and you'd pick the call and then you'd have a 30-minute conversation about work. So there was no break between work and home during lockdown. And I think many of us, including me and some other friends, we debated and we said that there has to be some, say, the concept of discipline changed. To say, while
Yeah.
you're despite at home, how do you break work versus personal life? So I think that was a recent learning, saying the physical environment was not changing. So it was not about moving from office to home, but having a disciplined way of managing time became important. That was one piece. Uh, Lockdown did bring a lot of, I think, for all of us, introspection on what is important in life. Are we balancing life well? So I think some of those things were helpful. It did give some time to read up on something different. So a little more time at hand, couldn't physically go out. So I've gone back to, so I'd learned French in school, but I just wanted to kind of learn one more language. So I'm on an online app trying to improve my French skills all over again. So just as a
Mhm.
excitement, do
Yeah.
something different. Unfortunately, there are not enough apps which give you the possibility to learn another Indian language.
Yeah.
So I was trying to see if there was a way to learn Sanskrit online. There was
Oh,
no, I couldn't find anything. So then
oh,
I said, okay, let's pick up French or Spanish.
okay. That's nice. So, please narrate a couple of incidents when habits have helped you during tough times in your professional career.
So maybe I'll start with a joke on this one first. So this is around 7, 8 years back. It was one of the first times when I was kind of asked to lead a project on digital banking enhancement. And I was having a conversation with another peer from home around the same.
Okay.
So then my kid would have been 12, 13 years old, and he heard the conversation. So his first reaction was that you don't know how to fix the home Wi-Fi. How the hell are you going to build a digital bank for the bank? So I guess the concept of constant learning, because I think they're the digital natives, right? So they've learned, they've grown up on Wi-Fi, they know exactly how to fix it. Uh, Whereas for people like me, it is more about I have to learn that skill set to then be able to deliver on it. So it was a good introspection, saying that your family itself believe that you have a steep learning left out to do before you can get to it. I used it to my advantage. I said, okay, chalo, now you teach me 5 things of what you want on a digital banking app, even at the age of 13, so that I can build it. So I think that always remains as a live example in my mind on how it has helped. Uh, there have been periods in time in career where consciously I have a promotion would also mean a change of location. Depending on family requirements, have kind of not volunteered to take the promotion or ask for the promotion in that year. Uh, but it was a conscious decision, so that you're not constantly at a conflict of saying I'm taking a back seat. It's about saying for
Yeah.
this year, family or kid getting into a proper school and settling is more important. So even if I have to move cities and take a larger job a year later, in a 30-40 year career, it doesn't matter. But I think for a kid starting school, going from primary to secondary, getting into college, are once a lifetime event.
Yes.
So as a parent, maybe those 3-4 years taking a backseat professionally, but personally putting more effort and time into family, I think were conscious decisions. Uh, One can always look back and say that had I done it differently, where would I be today? But you also feel that had I done it differently, what would my kid or my family think of it today? So
Yeah.
I think those are rather than life taking its course. I believe taking conscious decisions makes you be more at peace,
Yeah.
so that you know how you're balancing life and be happy overall between professional life as well as personal life.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much
Great.
for being
Nice
here.
talking to you.